Okay, here we go with clip number 3, and I want to share this with you, that I was probably at about 5 years of age, and my family and myself, my sister, one sister a little bit older than myself, and a brother, were traveling up to this area called Winnipegosis, Manitoba, up to visit my grandmother and relatives that were living up there. And I actually had my first vision of Jesus, okay? And I was only about that age and whatnot, and I always remember that. I remember that like it was yesterday, and so that was very, very interesting, and I didn't doubt at all. I knew who it was, and I didn't really share it with anybody or whatever, but I had that vision, and it was up in the sky. It was dark at night and whatnot, and yeah, and things that make a difference in your life, you have a tendency to hold on to them and not forget them ever. And so when I turned 10, visiting the same area, Winnipegosis, my sister and I had the opportunity to be on our own on a holiday visiting my grandmother, and I was about 10, and I actually started writing at that point in time my first story. And what happened was that I had an appendix attack, okay, which nobody expected that I would have all of a sudden, and the doctor who was looking at me at the time said I had to go into the local hospital right away and have an operation and get that appendix removed. And I had no idea the seriousness of this or whatever the case may be, but I willingly went along and had this operation. Now, another interesting experience happened to me during that operation, and when I tell people about this, it always kind of attracts their attention because various people have this kind of experience, and I did as well. I actually, when I was on the operating table, had an out-of-the-body experience, and it didn't terrify me again or whatever, and I heard these bells ringing, and it kind of went ring, 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 and all of a sudden the word "Dad" came to me, and I rose up out of my body, and I looked down at it. And a lot of people think, well, you rise up and then you go back down the same way that you rise up, the same way that you're lying down in the bed or on the operating table or whatever, but that didn't happen to me. I actually turned over and flipped over with my feet underneath me and looked down at myself from a different position totally. And when I tell people about that, they're kind of amazed because they never ever really talked to somebody who had this kind of experience, but I did. And so that resonated with me as an experience, and I asked the people about it after, and they didn't say anything to me about it. I think they were maybe hiding some things that actually maybe happened or whatever during the operation, but I wasn't privy to getting any of that information. But I wrote my first story, okay, about having this appendix operation. So that was my start in my kind of writing career. And so that is the end of part 3 of these video clips.